Hey guys, welcome back to Calgary Barbell once more. Today we're going to talk a little bit about warm-ups, specifically warm-ups from the empty bar up to your working sets. So how much should you jump by? How many sets of how many reps should you do on the way up so that you're warm enough when you get there but not wasting energy on the way up? One thing I see a lot of novice lifters do is start off with one plate and they'll do a set of 10. They'll go 2 plates, they'll do a set of 10. They're warming up to 315, let's say. And then they'll go 2 sets of 75 and they'll do a set of 5 and they're going up to 315 for doubles. That to me is a little bit of a waste of energy. I think it really depends. It's case to case, obviously. Some people are going to say this is not nearly enough warm-ups. Some people are probably going to say it's too much. But let me tell you a little bit about what I use and what's worked for me and a lot of my athletes so far. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to go through sort of a real-time or real-life example of how you would work up to either your first work set or your first ramp-up set in the case you're using RPEs and you're using ramp-up sets. So what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we're working up to 180 kilos. I'm going to give you guys some percentages and we're going to show you what that would look like, how I would sort of play with those percentages to make the loading a little bit easier, because nobody wants to go nobody wants to have to use all the change plates during their warm-ups. The first thing that I do on any day with any lift, except for maybe deadlift sometimes, depending on whether or not I've already squatted, is I will do 2 sets of 8 with an empty bar. Now this to me is a really good litmus test for how your body's feeling that day. If you got any aches or pains, if you got something you need to roll out, you need to stretch, you need to do a couple extra warm-up sets or some activation drills or whatever you like to do during your warm-ups to make things feel like they're moving a little bit more smoothly. So a couple sets of 8 with the bar will really get you a good indication of how things are going to feel that day. The next thing I recommend jumping to is about 45%. And again, I recommend we hit this for 2 sets, but of 5 reps this time. So if we're using that same example of going to 180 kilos for our first working set, that 45% is going to be about 80 kilos. Again, I would round it up or down to make it a nice round number. So we got a 70 kilo plate, 5 kilo plate, easy. There you go. So the next jump I recommend taking is about 65%. Now, keep in mind these percentages, again, are of the first working weight you're going to be using, of your first ramp-up set, whatever. So 65%, 180 kilos in this case, is 117-ish. So what I would do there is I would just jump to 120, because that's nice, easy plate math. The next jump I would use would be about a 75% of your working weight for the day, and you're gonna do that for a set of 2. This is about where I'd recommend most athletes put their belt on, put their wraps on, is about that 75% mark. So in this case, it's gonna be 135 kilos for your double. The next jump I'd recommend taking is another 10% up to about 85%, this time for another double. And in this case, it's gonna be between 150, 155 kilos. I think the math came out to 153, but I would obviously load 150 or 155. Again, just trying to make that plate math a little bit easier. And finally, our last warm-up set on the way up is gonna be at about 93%. Again, this can differ based on what the plate math works out to. In this case, I think it was 167. So I would just go 170 kilos for your last warm-up, single, before you get up to 180 for your first working set. Anyways, guys, that's about it for today's video. Pretty dry, pretty straightforward information, but it's something that I've had a couple people ask about and something that I wanted to make a video about because it helps. It helps to be able to do warm-ups efficiently and get warm enough without doing too much. So if anybody has any comments or questions, please ask in the comment section below. Let me know your warm-ups. Let me know if you liked these, if they help, etc. As well, we'll be back to filming more Project Pilsen today. Stay tuned and leave a like if you liked it. Thanks, guys.